running annual deficits of $2 trillion. You cannot keep up emergency level spending without the emergency. When the American people are in dire need of help because of some big external event that is out of our control, of course, the government should step in. The problem here is that so many temporary programs end up being permanent programs that you can never end, and that creates tremendous government dependency. That drives up the debt, drives up what we owe, and creates this kind of inflationary environment.
Yeah, but this is a false economy. I don't understand. There's what you want, there's what you need, and then there's what you can afford. And those are three different kinds of math, right? There were times in my life that I needed a coat, but the store didn't really care that I needed a coat. They were interested in what I could afford to pay for it. So I left without a coat.
Right.
Because I couldn't pay for a coat. And the government set up this false economy that says, well, if we don't have the money, we'll just print some.
So you're describing living within your means, which I think everybody in the audience has to. They're forced to live within your means. Businesses of all sizes, small businesses, big corporations, whether they're public or private, are driven by a profit motive. So it forces you to rein in your spending, to live within your means, whether as an individual or a business, right? To try to maximize your profits and deliver for the marketplace a good or a service that is needed. The government is not driven by a profit motive. The government is driven by a power motive. And power requires money. So the same incentives that guide each of us and our families to live within our means and not go overboard, or that you're going to get
They don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have that.
But what's your point? Is it lose power now?
There is absolutely power to that. So you've got the fiscal side, which is what Congress spends, and then you've got the monetary side, which is what the Fed prints.
Well, I've got grandchildren, and somebody's going to have to pay for this at some point.
Yeah,
this is going to get involved.
That's right.
This is a false economy. I don't care who you are or how you get your stuff. At some point, somebody has to step up and pay for this. So every time they bring up their print, every dollar you have, every dollar you have, every dollar I have becomes worth less money.
That's right. They are devaluing the currency by pushing so much money down into the system. So just over the last 3 years, between the fiscal side, that's Congress and what they're spending, and the administration, the Fed, what they're printing, they've pushed $8 trillion down into the system. That devalues your currency through your dollar goes less far. And this is why you're paying $30 for a dozen of eggs right now, and you can go to McDonald's for less than $20 because they've created this inflationary spiral by pushing so much money down into the system.
Well, 37 million Americans live in poverty, and 12 million children live in really poor homes. Congress is giving trillions of our dollars away for frivolous, sometimes self-serving pet projects. Government watchdog Adam Manchin, CEO of OpenTheBooks.com, says some government spending is just straight out corruption. That's how it's spending.
So the biggest payroll example of government rates come out with concept that's earmarking. Earmarks are a small portion of the overall federal budget, but there are favor factions when members request special projects back in the district, so they can implement the budget. Each member of Congress gets to choose 15 local projects for their earmarks. Now they have to be vetted in the House with the Appropriations Committee. Over the course of the last 2 years, Republicans and Democrats have earmarked 16,000 of these pet projects with a tune of $32 billion. Here's some examples of your federal tax dollars at work. It's $1 million for NASA to prepare the nation's religions for the discovery of extraterrestrial life. Health and Human Services made a $1.4 billion grant for sex education for California prostitutes. You could probably teach the class. And then you've got $1 million that goes to Cornell University. Ivy League school with a massive endowment, they don't need taxpayer help. And $1 million went for a study where it hurts the most to be stung by a bee. And it turns out it's the nostril.
All right, so this is Adam Angiesti, and we're going to talk to you when we come back.
Is how they bring home the fork. And we call this the currency of corruption in Congress because it is legalized bribery.
Medicare and Medicaid. See the difference in United Healthcare total complete plan connect. Both Medicaid and Medicare give you benefits, but a dual complete plan.
Really? That's good private.
I think a lot of politicians are skimming off the wall.
I think politicians are shady. They didn't take too much.
I do think there's a little bit of corruption that may be involved where if you're supposed to have a basic salary, but at the same time you're making millions of dollars or, I mean, you're just living on highlights, we gotta definitely check that out.
I think there's a lot of corruption that probably happens, and that's why they work as much as they are.
You've got people in the office who were bartenders a couple of years ago and now are working millions. You see insider trading, or allegations of insider trading. I think all that needs to be looked into.
I think somebody better be policing our government. What do you think?
Every American right now is in the hole $102,752. That's how much we're all going to have to pony up to get even at this point. Adam says all these earmarks are non-essential spending. So tell people what earmarks are and how they work.
Actually, the definition of an earmark is a member of Congress requests a project back at their district. Is how they bring home the fork. And we call this the currency of corruption in Congress because it is legalized bribery. Leadership hands out these pet projects to put votes on these massive spending bills. And Dr. Phil, every one of these earmarks didn't pass muster on a regular budget process. So this is an irregular process on bill-bid projects to bring home that bacon.
Okay, so these are things that maybe were floated before, didn't cut it, didn't get approved, and said, oh, I'm not doing that. So it didn't get voted on, so they come back around the back door and say, okay, yeah, we'll give you this through the back door so you can take it back to your district to all the people you want to vote for you and say, here's this pet project, like the building with my name on it, or I'll give $4 million to this hospital where my wife is in charge of fundraising, or whatever, back in the district. Give people what they think they want for free.
Exactly. All the while with this earmark spending. So you have very U.S. earmarks $30 million of our money into the Honors College. He retires from the Senate a couple of months later. They rename the Honors College after him.
Yeah, one earmark, they put aside money to build a new library.
Poor taxpayers. Do you really care where your money is going?
And it's like that, Congress just passed a $500 billion spending bill, and it was $15 million of our money to go put ankle monitors.
We the sheep, we the guinea pig, we the lab rats. The question is,
for a solar-powered jail in the South Pacific, not even in the United States.
You've been on 3 tours.
or let me rephrase that, do you care where the money went? Because the money gone.
This is something that you're willing to pay back to help you. You can't get even attention to this, but yet this kind of money is flowing. What do you say to yourself about that?
$8 billion debt is the kind of book, right? Why isn't that allocated to the 22 veterans of the Navy that still try to build it for the veterans? Yeah. I thought that it's good people who fight for us.
No.
You've been on 3 tours as a veteran. And you look for some
Based on the
person,
solid
not even a gift,
his initial intention to do something that was leadership, the talent,
gets into this, but yet this kind of money is flowing. What do you say to yourself?
Thank you, Dr. Phil. We're gonna have to push this out further than this because the truth hurts, especially it hurts the liars.
Well, that is the overall philosophy, absent an emergency, yes. And there are federal programs through the Small Business Administration for loans and things like that.
Going back to the $8 billion that
Believers.
that allocated to the 22 veterans a day, that the suicide program for those veterans.
Yeah.
Because the truth makes sense for true change. It's the make believe nonsense.
Yeah.
Where are those funds going?
Yeah.
Not small businesses, but anywhere else, everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Make
I'm
believe.
totally with you on that.
Nonsense that stops you from using common sense. And common sense is what's missing right now.
And I'm no longer at the Treasury. I was here for 2 years during the Trump years. When I talk about the power motive versus the profit motive, government is driven by power. Power requires money. All of these people go
Right now, that's what I'm saying.
because they need to get reelected. This is not about keeping your costs in check and running a streamlined business. This is about getting reelected. So they're voting their way back into power by spending money on stuff that we don't need, that nobody really wants, bridges to nowhere, and cows with ankle monitors, while our military veterans, which should be at the top of the priority, are not getting the support that they need.
Once,
This is how messed up the government is and how
when are we going to realize our business is being ran by a bunch of legal lying lawyers who never ran businesses? They always run their mouths. You can never trust a lawyer to run your business. That's the problem with us right now. The lawyers are lying to us and robbing us all at the same time.
$3.6 billion stimulus checks to 2.2 million people on that.
The same time. And that's just it. We need a businessman or a businesswoman to run a business. Never legal lying lawyers.
Theory. The National Science Foundation gave $300,000 to the University of Wisconsin for a virtual reality pigment study. Harvard spent $75,000 in federal grants on lizards on trees with loose clothes. You can't make this up. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a gas flying from outer space. I'm not joking. Pay for that. As we go to play, look to the streets and find out what we think about things that's your mind. And well, if they even do what they were in the first place.
I mean, remember earmarks are? No. I've heard the word earmark, but I don't know what that means. I'm not familiar with earmarks. Pet projects and earmarks are not where the money should go. I think that we should definitely prioritize the educational system rather than personal benefits. It's what the earmarks are. There are some earmarks that are important.
To definitively say that earmarks are a negative thing, I can't really say that because it could be positive if it was handled differently, right? So if it was public knowledge of what it was being earmarked for and it was something we had a say in, then I think that could be a good thing.
I think it's government waste and pork.
Worked for 25 years, combination of military and the government. Unaffected by the government shutdown and recertifications. From my experience, there were numerous things that cost more because we had to find some specific vendors that were approved by the government. We couldn't just find. The second thing was we had budgets that were allocated. If we didn't spend the budget for one particular year, then the next year we weren't guaranteed to receive the same amount of money. So a lot of times we just spent money so we could ensure that we had it the next year whether we needed the product or not.
Well, that was Calvin, a former government employee of 25 years, who we just saw talking about surviving 3 government shutdowns. And Ginger, the wife of an employee, the Coast Guard official, had to turn to a local food bank during the last government shutdown. Thank both of you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
But you were 25 years, right?
Correct.
So you've been through this.
Yes.
And your options are, show up and then get paid at the end of the shutdown, or don't show up. What did you do to come to him?
Okay, now something I want to bring up as well is my wife was also a government employee. So when the shutdown happened, both incomes ceased. Luckily, the first one in 2013 lasted, I believe, it was 17 days. So it took more of a stressful impact on the family. We just tried to tighten our belt and cut where we could. Of course, the second one was in 2018. It lasted 3 days. After the 17th day, when that one was really nothing other than the same thing, just trying to adjust the budget. The 35-day one was the one that really took the impact on the family, and that was because, unfortunately, the wife had got a promotion, and she was now considered non-essential. So for 35 days, she didn't even have the option to go to work. She just sat at home and didn't know whether she'd get paid. Now, all 3 of them went to work. I thought I wasn't going to roll the dice that I might not get a check. I had the opportunity to work. The 35-day one, we had to take measures dealing with creditors trying to allow us to pay our bills late. It will affect your credit scores. The government employees, that's the Department of Justice. You have to maintain your credit, and if you don't, you're just terminated. So it was really just a lot of stress. I had 2 school-aged children, and stay out less, didn't go to movies, didn't rent a movie. It was tough.
You went through the third one, right?
Yes.
And your husband was the Coast Guard.
Active duty Coast Guard, yeah.
But you're not getting that.
Correct.
How do we pay these people to go run and they're running 12 it's ridiculous, but they can't keep the government even running, and then they don't pay like 10 people that are actually doing the work they're not doing. That's astounding. So you had to go to food bank to keep food.
Yeah, we were a brand new military family, so new trains, didn't know how to navigate that. I just moved to our first duty station in Honolulu, Hawaii. It's been a cheap place to live. And yeah, we went without 2 paychecks. I think the hardest part is not knowing how long it's going to last. If we, all right, let's ride this out for 7 days if we make this work. We didn't know how long do we have to make this work. And at the time, there was no guarantee that we would see that back pay. So yes, calling creditors, trying to figure out how we weather this storm.
Wow. They really play y'all government workers.
Because they shut down and didn't pay.
Wow.
She prepared.
Our government officials play y'all workers like slaves, just like they play us.
And she's always been like that. So she also had a little nest egg savings that we depleted while on the time that we thought it was nothing. And then they finally passed the budget, so we did get reimbursed.
So you chose to go to work, and so at least you did get paid. There are others who chose not to go to work.
They got paid for that crap. If they were on a cruise in Mexico, they got paid.
Thanks. Perfect.
But yeah,
Those in, yeah, that's our government. That's our tax dollars. While some of our guests say we should spend on social programs, others say no. We'll continue the conversation
Once we trim the fat dealing with the government, all these different government agencies, a lot of shit the people would do better doing than the agencies.
Good.
big date night. That's easy.
Take care of this shit better than the agencies do.
Recognition of simply 12 deliverables across the entire tax process. If you want to gather things from your client, send an organizer, signatures on an engagement letter, or just gather screenshots, you get to choose what you want, whether it is an engagement letter, custom questions that you want information on. Throughout the entire tax process, they have a similar look and feel. No passwords, no information necessary.
We the people should clean the White House. We don't need Congress to clean the White House. All we need to do is go to the White House. We know who needs to go. All the assholes that allowed all these migrants to come over here for free on the taxpayers. They need.
And the safety of children. I mean, the school shootings are heartbreaking to me.
Taxpayers.
We spend as much money on social programs, promoting the arts and things like that as I would like to see. Our tax dollars are being used, so it's associated with I would think that people have an opinion, very conservative are very involved and are very involved, that we all need to work together harder.
Well, tonight we're talking about the 1.3 million spent on shrimp running on treadmills, and the $20 million spent on interior designers with federal agencies. We're talking about government spending. Well, how has this gotten so out of control?
Well, I think that there's just a lack of accountability. I mean, government is not only wasting our taxpayer money, they're literally milking us like dairy cows. So you have the top 20 largest federal agencies. This is actually pretty stunning. Every year they have to report to Congress on their mistakes. They're mistaken in improper payments. And it's been averaging about $250 billion per year. In fact, over the course of the last 4 years, the admitted mistakes of the 20 largest federal agencies is going to add up to $1 trillion.
And it's subscribe for most emails coverage. It's called Movie and it's supposed to be safe.
This is really upsetting to me. I would think it would be too. Dr. Lindy, you're a doctor of sociology.
After all the bullshit that the FBI put us through, you mean to tell me we gonna pay for a building for them? A new building for them? Are we fucking really just this fucking stupid? Like I said before, I said once, I said twice. Fuck the FBI. What the fuck do we pay the FBI for if we have an agency that can lie to you and get away with lying because the FBI can lie to you because that's part of their job? You can never trust a fucking liar.
But to get involved on a local level, get involved with how we're voting and who's running and then how we're spending our money.
Daniel, you think government should be smaller, believe me.
100% should be smaller.
Yeah.
I think right now, every year we add more and more government officials. I mean, just in the last few years, we've added tens of thousands of IRS agents, and 65% of the inquiries that they put out were for people that made under $200,000. So we're paying the government to attack its own people.
Yep.
And I don't agree with that.
Yep.
I think the smaller the government is,
Yep.
the
Yep.
more the
Yep.
economy can grow.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just common sense. The more
Yep.
money that we have
There you
to
go,
pay in
girlfriend.
taxes,
Thank you,
I'm
ma'am.
an entrepreneur, I'm
Thank you,
a
ma'am.
taxpayer,
Thank you,
and I'm
ma'am.
an investor. And the less
Thank
money
you,
that I
ma'am.
have in my pocket, the less money that I can invest in new business, the less money that I can put into VC funds.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Like you said, common sense. What you talking about makes sense.
Giving props to people that are spendthrifts, and I don't agree with that at all.
I completely agree with that. I think that we should take those funds that we're spending on movies on that, invest that in a program where they actually audit Congressmen. Audit Congress, go small, but go make the government smaller. Because a lot of people can have help them with the spending. And then with drug dealing.
Can you imagine if that happened, if funds started in all of the ways, all the things that were just simply squandered and not accounted for, was reimbursed to all the taxpayers, and what a difference that would make to families that are on the bubble, on the tax bracket.
Fucking right.
What a difference that would make.
That make a big fucking difference.
We said that.
No. Yeah, for sure. All right, we'll be right back. CDC says we should stop spending money to put monkeys on meth. But then we're going to have to spend money to put all those monkeys in rehab. All night long, we've been watching the debt clock count up. Thanks to Peter G. Peterson Foundation, now we know that since we started this conversation, our national debt has increased over $100 million.
Wow.
While we've been having this conversation.
Wow.
Over $100 million. That's just the debt. Everybody understands this is eventually going to hit a wall, right? At some point.
It's already hit a wall, man. We don't owe no China. We don't owe the central bank.
Right? From AAA to AA plus,
Yeah.
which means funds cost more. This affects everybody.
We don't owe no China. We owe the central bank.
Yeah, looks like such a good gamble over there. This could go bad. That's not good for us on the world stage. It's showing us shutting down, going deeper and deeper in debt. And I need to stop confident we're going to hit another 25 million here pretty soon. And I said at the beginning that we have the ability to do something about this. I gave examples of things where we just drawn the line and said, we're not going to put up with this anymore. Think about it. We didn't have seatbelts in cars. We did allow advertising of hard liquor on television. We did have people smoking on airlines. We did have all kinds of things. And finally, we said, we're not going to have this anymore. We have the ability, and we are in a presidential election year, to message to our representatives locally, statewide, nationally, representatives, senators, that, hey, we're not going to put up with this anymore. You either get this under control, you either stop this deficit spending, or we're going to fire your butt and get somebody in there who will.
Thank you.
It's just
that simple.
We do have the ability to do this. You can get up from watching.
Thank you, Dr. Phil, because the truth is the truth. It is. It literally is just that simple. We want.
I don't want to hear any more about your earmarks. I don't want to hear any more about your deficit. I better hear you going in and saying we're stopping.
The shit just have to make sense.
Everybody in my neighborhood, everybody at my church, everybody I can find, and we're coming after you and finding somebody that will go in there and be financially responsible. We're not going to go down so you can keep doing what you've always done.
Nope.
Enough is enough, too much is too much. And unless until we do that, it's going to continue.
Because if you don't stop the make-believe nonsense, the make-believe nonsense will continue. The make-believe nonsense will continue to stop you from using common sense.
2 trillion in 24, 2 trillion in 25. It's just going to keep going. If you don't think that we can't go broke, just call some friends in Venezuela and see what happens. It can happen, and we can't be silent. We've got to do something about it. This is not political. If you look at what was spent during the Republican administrations and what was spent in Democratic administrations, it doesn't make any difference. They all do the same, and we can't sit idly by and allow it. I'm just saying. I want to thank all of my guests being here tonight, and thanks for watching us here on Dr. Phil's America TV. If you want to know what is really going on in America, this is your place. This is television you can use. We're going to embrace and present the core values that I believe in, I think that you believe in. If you don't, that's why you have a remote control. But if you do, that's what we talk about here. And we are just starting, and I want all of you to join us on this journey. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Oh, Dr. Phil. Shit.